Good afternoon, Mid-Michigan. I am First Alert Meteorologist Diane Phillips on this beautiful Monday afternoon. Happy to have everybody joining us. And I know a lot of you just want to be outside, so hopefully we can bring you a little bit of sunshine here and kind of brighten up your Monday. Also give you that energy boost after the weekend. We had gorgeous weather on Saturday and Sunday, so hopefully you were able to get outside, have some fun. We are live here on Facebook, on YouTube, so if you want to let us know maybe what you were doing around Mid-Michigan to have some fun and enjoy the nice weather, we'll kind of be keeping an eye to some of those comments here. But we are going to be talking about how the wildfire smoke from the weekend is still hanging around. Also, we are going to be talking about northern lights. We've had a storm come through, so we're going to be talking about the potential, if we have that chance, kind of how things are looking. I know a lot of us really like to see those conditions, if that's going to be working out for us. So we will be talking about that. Plus, as always, here at 2 o'clock, we will be going through your first alert forecast. And of course, we are doing this Monday through Friday, so make sure you tune in. Tell your friends that we're also hanging out here, kind of chatting about whatever is kind of piquing our interest. I also have some fun weather videos from across the world of just some interesting things that are going on, and I think that you're going to find them interesting as well. So make sure you hang out here. We're going to be going here in just a couple of minutes. I want to give folks at least a moment or two to where we can kind of get people into our coverage. So we are going to just kind of wait a moment, and I also got to get my computer set up here so that we are ready to roll. But you can even see behind me, I have the Mackinac Bridge shot up because we've been seeing a lot of smoke there as well. It's been a little bit thinner here in Mid-Michigan, but we are finding that it's still going to be smoky across the area. Actually, here's a look in downtown Flint as we wait for some folks to be joining us here on our website, Roku, Fire Stick, Facebook, and YouTube. But brighter blue skies here in downtown Flint, so a nice looking afternoon. But this is the look on our Vehicle City Harley-Davidson camera, where it's just kind of milky overhead. So it's not really the difference in camera, it's just kind of that smoke. Sometimes it's able to pick up on that a little bit better than some other spots. But on a Monday with high pressure, we would think that we would be looking at a lot of sunshine, which we are, but bright blue skies, that would be the expectation. Not exactly for us today. We are going to be finding that it's just kind of like we have that filter, that social media filter that you throw on. That's what we're kind of looking at. So the reason that we are looking at some wildfire smoke is because the fires are still active in Canada. As long as that season is going towards our north, we have to continue to know that that threat is going to exist for some of that smoke to come in our direction. You'll find here that though the smoke and the fires are not nearly as close as what we've seen in previous years, we do still kind of have a flow, and you can kind of see it's coming off of the North Pacific. It kind of comes down here just south of Billings, and then it kind of goes right back north in the northern central plains. It is able then to latch onto some of that smoke, and then we kind of see the jet stream kind of break down a little bit, and so it heads further south, kind of pulling all of that smoke down with it before it kind of heads out. So we're not the only ones that are working with smoke. Also, you'll find on this graphic that there is wildfires kind of all over the place. Of course, some are a little bit bigger than others, but really whenever we have kind of a flow that's able to kind of pull these plumes of smoke in and then bring them further south, that's what we're going to be watching for. You will see that northwest, north, and northeast winds are going to be something that we're really watching for. Now on Friday, we had to be concerned with the potential of that smoke reaching the ground level. And we do still have that concern for today, but a lot of that smoke is thankfully going to stay higher up in the atmosphere. So that's why it's going to be looking a little hazy outside. But as far as air quality concerns, we should be able to avoid those. But there is still going to be a little bit of smoke that's going to try to mix downwards towards the ground, but it's really going to be higher up in the atmosphere that we see the smoky impacts. Now, as we check some of our air quality alerts, or at least the air quality index, you will find our sensor in Saginaw, Flint, Houghton Lake, and in Grand Rapids. Oh, the Grand Rapids actually did just switch to moderate, but a lot of us here in the lower peninsula have been in that good category as far as that air quality index number, but you will find that Grand Rapids has now switched to moderate. About 2 hours ago, they were in the good, so they're probably hovering pretty close between good and moderate. So if you are in a population that has a little more sensitive to the smoke, and maybe it's not necessarily something that you really want to contend with, just stay inside, kind of keep those windows closed up, run your air conditioning to kind of purify it. It kind of acts very similar, the smoke does, to pollen when we have that in the air, because you have those particles, they get, you breathe them in, they kind of get in your sinuses, and they're not supposed to be there, so then that's why you kind of have those symptoms. So if you kind of notice, oh, my allergies picked up over the weekend, it's probably because you were maybe outside Friday night and you got a little bit of that smoke in or also you had the windows open and so some of that got into your house. So not that it's necessarily easy to see, but it kind of behaves the same way. That smoke, that pollen, if your nose doesn't like it, it's just not going to like it. But thankfully we are, a lot of us, keeping our air quality index in that good zone. I do want to talk about the smoke higher up though in the atmosphere, because it's not just today we're going to have the hazy skies, but that is going to carry on. So as we go through the next couple of hours, you'll actually find that plume of smoke is pretty strong coming through. And that's going to be for everybody across the state of Michigan. As we go into the evening, we will see that it's still pretty strong. The one bonus, I guess we could say, is that we typically, when you have these small particles in the air like smoke, and even when it's elevated like this, we're able to have some more vivid sunrises and sunsets, just because that line is, that wavelength is a little bit longer to our eyes, so we see more reds, purples, pinks. So it's just a little bit more crisp, vivid, brighter. So if you're able to snap some of those, don't forget to share those on your First Alert Weather app. And going into Tuesday, though, we'll still find that a lot of that smoke is still hanging out overhead. So I have mostly sunny skies in yet for tomorrow, but I wouldn't anticipate it to be bright blue conditions. But as we go into Wednesday, we do have some rainfall in the forecast. We have a front that's going to be coming in. So we will start to see that wind direction shift. That'll kind of shake up the smoke a little bit, and that will change that forecast. So we're going to be watching that here as we go through the week and even into early next week. And so this is just something that everybody is working with here. But again, thankfully, it's not nearly as thick as what it has been. I'm going to load up our near surface smoke just to kind of show you that it's not necessarily coming in all that strong here at the surface. Of course, you will find that it does try to pick up here towards the evening, and that would be along and north of US 10. You can see still some of that around Mount Pleasant, Alma, but then that still kind of shifts around. So we still, again, we'll see a little bit of smoke towards the ground. Thankfully, it won't be nearly as strong as what we had on Friday. Going into Tuesday, though, still on the lighter side. So not all of it making it to the ground, but we are going to continue to see conditions that allow for some of that smoke to be hanging around. Now, the other thing to consider is that we do have some rainfall that's going to come in, and that a lot of times can kind of help purify the air and at least knock some of that down for us. So I'm going to actually jump ahead in time. This is as we go into Tuesday evening. So we are going to have dry weather today and mainly tomorrow as well. You can see a little bit of moisture here at 10 p.m. coming in towards our northern counties, a little more cloud cover building in at this point. So we do have a line of rain that's going to be setting up towards our west, and this is going to start to inch a little bit closer. So in the middle of the night, we'll start to have some of these rain showers coming in. And then even as we go into the morning, a lot of that coverage is still towards our west. This is moving really slow, and the timing, we've been talking about the potential of a First Alert Weather Day, but the timing kind of seems to throw us off a little bit here. So it's going to be tricky to get that going. But we are still going to be watching with temperatures that are going to be into the 80s. We are going to be kind of headed into that season where we can have some stronger storms. So in the morning, we're still seeing some scattered showers. Into the afternoon, as this line comes through, it starts to break apart a little bit. So you'll see that it is able to populate a couple of cells that are fairly strong. And then that is going to be kind of that time frame that we are watching for a strong thunderstorm to be developed in the mix. Overall, a severe weather outbreak does not look likely along this line, but there still could be a storm that does kind of reach that severe criteria. This is going to continue to move eastward, this entire line. So as we go into the evening, we'll still have some rain showers that come in, but we are going to see that it continues to break apart. So once we kind of get through Wednesday, we have a little bit of a lull, but I do still have some rain chances as we go into the Friday time frame. So if you have some plans, maybe a long weekend, make sure you stay connected with your First Alert Weather team. The talks of severe weather today, of course, with high pressure, not a lot happening, so we don't have any outlooks. For Tuesday, just because we do have some of that rain and moisture towards our west, we are in that non-severe category, that light green. So we're not even really anticipating a lot of daylight time frame to see that rainfall. But as we get closer towards bedtime, we can kind of see some of that rain. Still, though, the thunderstorm potential is pretty low. Going into Wednesday, as this line starts to come through, with it coming in the morning, it's not super great that we see the storms coming in, but once we get into the afternoon, we have a little better of an environment, and that's going to allow us to see the potential for some of these storms to maybe be able to tap in and kind of get a little bit stronger and severe. So we will be watching and kind of seeing, but so far Wednesday for the thumb coming in just through the Tri-Cities and along I-69, including Flint as well. We'll just kind of be keeping an eye to that Wednesday forecast, but right now the timing means everything on being able to kind of get this storm going. Now, we are also going to be talking about a forecast that's a little bit more mild. Even tonight, low temperatures are going to be into the mid to upper 50s, so that's fairly comfortable, maybe a little too warm if you want to have those windows open tonight. And in the next 7 days, we will be talking potentially as our team gets together here this afternoon on the first alert weather day possibilities for Wednesday. Right now, it doesn't look likely. As we had talked, we just kind of don't see the timing to really help us tap into severe storms. But we will be watching still for more rainfall on Friday, a little more consistency there in the data. We have 80s for today, so it's going to warm up quite nicely, and then 86 for tomorrow. But then once we have the cold front coming through, it does cool us down into the 70s. So that's going to continue to be a factor for us as we go even into the weekend. I'm trying to dry the weekend out. I know it's kind of an early taste here on Monday, but going into June, you probably have some weddings and graduation parties. So we're going to try to kind of keep an eye to that as well. Now, we are going to find that we still have to talk about the Northern Lights potential, and also we do have that volcanic eruption video that I do want to share with you as well. But we are going to quickly take a break, and we'll be right back to talk about the real fun stuff in the forecast. And welcome back again, First Alert Meteorologist Diane Phillips. We're already talked kind of about those current conditions in our forecast and what we're watching, but we do also have the potential for the Northern Lights to come in. Check out this video. So this was captured in Idaho on a doorbell camera, and this is just kind of the whole look at the night. I thought it was amazing how they were able to kind of get those fuchsia colors in a little bit stronger. We did have a geomagnetic storm come in, and that has been allowing for some of these Northern Lights chances to kind of pop up here in the forecast. So this happened over the weekend. Definitely a cool sight to see. So this was actually captured on June 1st, of course, and the sun coming up. But let's restart this because it looks absolutely amazing to kind of catch this. So definitely a magnificent display. So they are, thankfully, we have a slight chance for us, but you really got to have those clear skies. And even with the smoke, that shouldn't be too much of a hindrance. But you are going to find that we do have the potential, this geomagnetic storm kind of being a little active over the weekend. I was checking on our First Alert weather app to see if any of you guys had shared any photos with us, and I didn't have any in there, so just kind of keep in mind, have this on your personal radar, because tonight we do have another chance. We have clear skies, and it'll be fairly mild to go out there. That view line is just off towards our south, so we are seeing the one impact, though, is that this storm came in a little bit early, so that's going to, of course, affect the timing very much for us. So we are going to continue to kind of monitor the chance. It's not necessarily high for us today, but we are going to find that at least there's a chance. So that's always a good thing for us. But we will be looking here at kind of a KPI to peak, or excuse me, just a KP, but we will be monitoring for that to kind of peak around 11 o'clock tonight. So it maybe has been a little bit stronger earlier over the weekend, but we do still have that chance here again tonight. So if you are going to head out there and do some viewing, some of the things that help is getting away from the city lights. Light pollution makes it really kind of hard to see. Another thing is when you go out there and you find kind of your dark spot, you want to sit out there for probably about 30 minutes just because it gives your eyes time to adjust. and then you're not kind of used to the city lights. You're a little bit used to that darker environment. So then you're able to kind of see and kind of grasp it a little bit better. Another thing is that our cell phones, we have cameras on them, and those can kind of pick up and kind of see the lights a little bit better than our natural eye, just because of that wavelength difference and able to kind of process it a little bit different than the human eye. So if you're not sure, you kind of are wondering like, oh, they might be out there, open up that camera phone, see what's going on. You might be able to get a good look. So we do have that Northern Lights chance. Do not forget, if you do grab a picture of that, you can share that on the First Alert Weather app. I have that QR code there. If you don't have the app already, I'm sure a lot of you already do have the app, but just in case you don't, we want to make sure that you do have that. So when you do have that photo, you can share it with us, and maybe we can even kind of highlight them tomorrow if we have the chance. The Northern Lights, they're always so tricky for us to know how that really pans out. It's kind of like a now forecast when we do those. So at least we do have the chance here, but we do want, of course, if you have those photos, we would love to share them here. So we do have the potential for tonight. So make sure you are kind of keeping an eye to the sky here this evening. Now, another thing that I've been watching in the forecast, we talked last week, Monday, on the Kilauea volcano eruption. And the video was amazing. We had that lava kind of shooting 1,000 feet up into the air. Well, we actually had another volcanic eruption in Italy, and we have a little bit of video here. I'm going to share it with you. I thought this was an amazing video to be able to catch this just erupting. Yeah, how it kind of comes out the side. We got a couple angles here of what this looks like, but it's definitely amazing. Of course, there were some hikers and some folks who were around the area. So of course there were some evacuation notices to get everybody kind of out of harm's way. Thankfully, there haven't been any injuries, but of course a lot of folks were asked to avoid the area. And it's even, I love kind of seeing the satellite of just the temperature map of that volcano eruption, just that lava coming through. So definitely some interesting video. Oh, looks like we went back to that other video, but you are gonna see kind of this eruption come through. So they thankfully didn't see any impacts to the local airport, and also reporting that the situation is under control. So this is obviously not a big enough eruption that'll probably disrupt our global weather, but it is always some interesting video to see come through. So definitely some fun happenings here. The volcanic eruptions a little bit, again, busier, but we are also going to be hoping to see those Northern Lights tonight. So a little bit of fun sciencey things that are going on. Of course, we want to make sure that you stay updated. Even though we have nice weather, just be watching out for that rainfall as we go into our Wednesday. And another reminder that that Northern Lights potential is going to be tonight. So as I mentioned, send in those photos. If you're able to grab any, you can do those on the First Alert Weather app. And you will find there, once you send those in, hopefully maybe we can catch those tonight, and then we can talk about that tomorrow. So we're going to be hoping for that one to be coming through. But again, we're going to be doing this here at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, just kind of hanging out, talking about the fun weather things that we are watching for, and just kind of what's catching our attention, and also just any weather kind of keeping you one step ahead of the game here, especially with our schedules getting busier and that severe weather threat as we go into the summer season. So again, you can always join us on Facebook, YouTube, at WNEM.com, on Roku, Fire Stick. We're also streaming there on our other television platforms. And again, we will be also coming up with the latest news and weather headed on our over-the-air platforms at 4 p.m. But thanks again for joining us this afternoon, and we'll see you tomorrow at 2 p.m.